I was laughing during the break because I was looking back at JP's picture of him sitting on the balcony.
Right.
And even funnier than him just sitting on the balcony is his random generic boxing T-shirt. It just says boxing.
It just says boxing.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Moore made me laugh. It's like if he wore a shirt that just said basketball.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, man.
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
made
have
me
that
laugh.
shirt anymore, Cakes. Unlike you with your Iron Maiden shirts,
Yeah.
I cycle through my T-shirts.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I completely get it. All right, joining us now on the BetQL Guest Hotline is Joe House, a.k.a. House from D.C., host of the Ringer Gambling Show. What's up, House? How are you?
Fellas, what's happening? So good to be back.
What is up, man?
Hey, so before we talk about the NBA Finals, what are your thoughts on the breaking news this morning that the Lakers are preparing a massive contract for Danny Hurley? I'm thinking if it's massive, if they're using that word, it's going to be in the, 13 to 15 million per year range.
Yeah, well, first of all credit to Woj. I mean, beautiful to wake up to a Woj bomb the morning of the first game of the NBA Finals, and I felt bad for Shams. I mean, Shams just gets crushed. Shams all week long's been talking about, JJ Redick and his, they're getting ready. But look, the only thing about Danny Hurley to the Lakers, are they going to put him in the corner to shoot some threes? That team is I guess capable of a little bit of improvement with a head coach position, but they need guys that can score. Their problem is on the floor, not at the coaching position.
How do you think that Dan's style will translate to the NBA, right? Like, he almost reminds me of, like, sort of a younger Gary, right? Fiery guy. I mean, does that really work at that level?
I mean, we're going to find out. It is the big question I had with the JJ Redick rumors. Like, what proof is there that JJ can be a leader of men? It's a very specific kind of skill. And, at least Hurley has a proven track record. There's a big difference between college kids and pros, obviously. But you know that the Lakers have done their diligence. They've got LeBron's permission, which is the most important thing. Does LeBron approve? So, I mean, I think Hurley could be fine. I was watching earlier, you guys were trying to come up with, successful college coaches that have made it in the pros. I'm a little bit embarrassed, Bish.
What?
You didn't come up with Larry Brown like right off the top. Like, we're old guys.
Yeah, I
Larry Brown,
yeah,
right?
that's a good one.
He's the number one.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Larry Brown. Yeah.
Well, we were
He's
just
been
going through
out.
a list. It's
He was
hard to
just
remember.
he was just out of the game for so long. Yeah, that's
It's
true.
been a long time. He's an old dude now.
No, that's
But
true.
I think when you're bringing up the LeBron thing, he clearly is approving of Hurley. If they're in negotiations, he's already said Hurley's the guy. If he didn't want Hurley, they're not preparing a massive deal.
And it sure would not be a Woj bomb. I know that much.
Right. Well,
All right, so let's get into the NBA Finals. You are into gambling angles. I am a Mavs fan and a Luka fan, and I don't think a parlay of Mavs plus Luka MVP would be a bad play. I think that'd probably be good value.
Yeah, I love that. This finals is really great. It's setting up with tremendous storylines. You have Kyrie Irving, who played for the Celtics, returning there. He left under circumstances that weren't the best. The city of Boston definitely fell out of love with him. Porzingis in Dallas didn't work out. He kind of was there at a time when Luka was still growing. So there was, a couple fun storylines, but the true challenge in trying to handicap this finals is Dallas has the best player. That's Luka. Everybody, I think, sort of agrees with that. Jason Tatum's not too far behind. But Boston, over the course of the regular season, performed at a level that by many, many advanced metrics have them among the very best teams in the history of the NBA, like in terms of offensive efficiency, offensive rating, and the same on the defensive side. They finished, we're at this moment, they're 76-20, and the teams that have entered the finals with only 20 losses, it's a very short list. And so what you're really trying to do is figure out this Dallas team has only come into this kind of form since the trade deadline. Since they took on our beloved Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline, along with P.J. Washington from Charlotte, from trade deadline through the end of the regular season, Boston had the best record. Dallas had the second best record. And Dallas, especially on defense, has become like a top five-ish kind of defensive team. They have a new identity. And so you have to say, well, when I'm thinking through this thing, is it Boston with this historically great performance regular season wise, or Dallas really went through a gauntlet thus far in the playoffs. They took on both Oklahoma City and Minnesota, two of the sort of darling young teams that were at the very top in the Western Conference, and Boston didn't really have much of a challenge at all in the playoffs. So do you trust your eyes, what you've been seeing the last month or so out of Dallas, or do you trust what history tells us about a team like Boston? That's the challenge here.
House, what do you make of people who say that Tatum has to win Finals MVP and Boston has to win for him to be validated? Like he can't just be the second best guy in his team. He has to be the leader. Like Jaylen Brown can't outshine him in the finals. I find it weird that pressure is just put on him.
Well, he is the best player on the team.
I know he's the best player, but it's like, even if he doesn't have the best finals, like
but they win,
yeah. Like he's still going to get critiqued for it. If
they win, he's going to play well. I don't know if he's win the final. He's going to play well.
It usually works.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Jason Tatum would be fine if they win with whatever role he plays, but he's going to play an enormous role because he is their best player, their most consistent player, and this is the opportunity. My buddy Bill Simmons, the podfather over here at the Ringer Network, has been putting a lot of pressure on himself, on Boston Nation, on this team to win this finals, because they think of this finals as like, if not now, when. And I've been trying to caution him about putting that kind of pressure on this situation. In the first place, Boston has done an unbelievable job rebuilding on the fly. The acquisition of Drew Holiday, bringing in Porzingis over the summer, and even going back a couple of years ago, their acquisition of Derek White, what they have now, and those guys are all under contract. They could definitely run this back next year. Now, you never know with injuries and the way the league goes, things don't last forever. But it looks like Boston's set up for a little bit of a window. But I obviously agree with the idea that the opportunity is staring them right in the face right now. But Dallas is legit. And this combination of Kyrie and Luka, you look at all of the conversations on all the sports shows, Kyrie and Luka, are they the best backcourt in the history of playoffs and finals? It's just a fun conversation, but I think that this thing is a lot closer than the way that it's kind of handicapped. I mean, Boston's a better than 2-1 favorite to win the series, and they're favored by 6.5 points tonight, which is quite a bit.
Talking to Joe House from D.C., host of the Ringer Gambling Show. Let's talk about the Porzingis element. I saw a video yesterday, and it looked like he was still limping a little bit, but how big is he schematically to kind of thwart Dallas's defense? If you've been watching the NBA playoffs, they like Lively and Gafford to be close to the basket, block shots, alter shots. It was a problem for even Anthony Edwards. How big is Porzingis, who can just bring them out deep?
It's by far the biggest X factor to my way of thinking, is how effective will Porzingis be. And I honestly have been saying on our shows that I kind of don't want to bet the series. I have done it, but I want to see Porzingis, like the first 4 minutes of game one that we see, how he moves, to me will tell an enormous story about how the series is going to go, assuming everybody is able to stay healthy. We don't have any injuries over the course of the series, but really Porzingis is the X factor, not only for what you're observing, Cakes, which is him pulling one of the big guys out to the three-point line, but the kinds of threes that he shoots, he shoots deep three-pointers. Mm-hmm. The other element to Porzingis is his role as a rim protector. Luka leads the league in assists that come on the lob, and Dallas has been incredible at getting to the rim with Gafford and Lively and this lob play. I think they have points off of lobs that are like more than double any other team in the entire playoffs. It's become a real important element of their offensive arsenal. So if Porzingis can disrupt that, then that's a big deal in terms of Boston's fortunes.
Well, the other thing is, from watching both Kyrie and Luka, they're going to hunt Horford and probably Porzingis on pick and rolls. And if Porzingis can't move very well, he's going to be toast.
Yeah, that's an all-day long thing in terms of them hunting those guys. The one thing that Boston has that does make them unique is rotation-wise. They're so deep with guys that are in that 6'7" to 6'9" category that move great laterally. Both Brown and Tatum move great, but Derek White and Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew Holiday is really the secret sauce to me that makes this Boston team go defensively. He's an incredible defensive quarterback. It's like having, the best linebacker in the league who's sitting there watching things play and pushing guys to the right positions. Drew Holiday, I think, is going to be a really important element for the Celtics on defense.
So what's your vibe just on tonight? We're looking at numbers here. Boston's laying 6.5. They're minus 250 on the money line. I'm not going to do that. I mean, unless I parlay it with something. 215 is your total. Boston hadn't played in 10 days, so I don't know how that's going to affect them. They're certainly rested. Dallas is rested now. They needed it too. So I don't know. I mean, both teams are good defensively. I could see this being a lower scoring game. I mean, Boston played some low scoring games in the Indiana series too.
For sure. I actually like the over because both of these teams love to shoot the three. The only thing that would keep it under is if both teams come in cold because, that they have had this little bit of a layoff. But, both teams live and die by the three, and you can go into the numbers and see. So I feel like over the course of the series, the total is going to go up into the 217, 218 range, and so 215 feels a little shy to me. I also don't love laying the 6.5. When the Mavericks have lost thus far in the playoffs, they lost 5 games. Mm-hmm. They tend to lose close games. They had one. They lost to the Clippers by 12 or so at the very beginning of the playoffs, and they had kind of one blowout loss. But their other losses are all inside of 5 points or so, and that's just a testament to how tough Kyrie and Luka are. So I don't love laying all those points.
We're joined by House from DC. He's at House from DC on Twitter, and I'm looking at Bill Simmons' Twitter. He reposted the deals that you want to pull off for the Wizards. You seem desperate to deal away the number 2 pick.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
you're not a SAR guy.
I mean, I'm just going to read them. This is right from Bill Simmons. House is ready to ship off pick number 2 for the 12th pick, Josh Giddey, and a decent future first in one deal.
All right, remember Giddey's name being out there, yeah.
He's also ready to give up number 2, Jordan Poole, an unprotected first, and a pick swap for LaMelo or Trae Young. And this one made me laugh. He's willing to trade Poole for, quote, any other player in the league.
Right.
That made me laugh.
That one I agree with.
Yeah.
Now, look, couple things. First of all, I was sitting here watching on Monumental TV, EB's entertainment page, because we are stuck in this moment right now, fellas. There ain't nothing to do but get on the text and start making up trades.
Yeah.
Because there's no sports on TV.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could try and watch baseball, but good God.
Jeez.
Look, those are fake trades. Here's the thing that's most important, right?
All right.
The Wizards led the league in 2 things last year. Losses at home. They lost 34 times at home. And appearances on Shaqtin' a Fool.
Right.
Jordan Poole was on Shaqtin' a Fool so many times that Shaq said he might change the name to Shaqtin' a Pool. That's how many times Jordan Poole was on Shaqtin'.
That is funny.
So look, I do think that I really do like Josh Giddey, and if he really is on the outside looking in terms of Oklahoma City and that development, I think Giddey developmentally makes sense for what this Washington team, is doing. I was happy that they hired Brad Keith. I do think that you guys had him on. How did you like him?
He just doesn't seem like he is very like he doesn't love to talk to media. You know what I mean? Like he was fine. He was nice.
Guys.
Yeah, he was nice, but he didn't really want to give you anything.
But he didn't really open up.
Yeah, he didn't want to give you anything.
I mean,
he's got a reputation of being a guy that will develop players and has a good standing, and the players like him. And that's the only thing that matters, right? The continued maturity of Denny Abdia, the continued development of Bilal Coulibaly, and whatever we get in this upcoming draft. I mean, I like Corey Kispert. I hope that they extend him. But really, this whole season, we've been trying to come up with names for it. This season is about trying to get at Cooper Flag. We're talking about, do we call it waving the white flag for Cooper Flag, or do we call it? We're gonna poop for Coop. I mean, those are like we're just workshopping here, fellas.
I like it. You're spitballing. I can appreciate that.
But you could have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick, and then all of a sudden Atlanta, who's got like a 0.1% chance, gets the number 1 pick. I mean, you just can't trust it.
That's how it works. There is no guarantee. You're absolutely right, Fish. But look, you do the best you can. You put yourself in the best position to get at the best player. We got very close to Wembanyama, if you believe the lottery stories from last year. But there's really nothing in the Wizards' future otherwise that makes any sense. And if you can get somebody that looks like a change of scenery guy that's still young and on his rookie contract, somebody like Giddey for that 2 pick, I'm fine with it, because this upcoming draft seems like it doesn't have anybody but like role players, second bananas at best.
Hey, House, thanks for the time, man. Keep coming up with those wacky Wizard trade proposals, and we'll talk to you again soon, man. Enjoy the finals tonight.
Love you, boys. Enjoy it.
All right, thank you, buddy.
That's
Very nice.
House from DC, at House from DC on your Twitter. He's the host of the Ringer Gambling Show. Don't forget, coming up at 8:40, we'll be joined by Chris Richards, center back for the U.S. men's national team. They will take on Colombia at Commanders Field this Saturday.